Alright, so in this problem, I have x to the power of x is equal to 4 to the power of 1024. So to solve this problem, I first start with x to the power of x is equal to 4 to the power of 1024. And now I'm going to take the power, I'm going to rewrite 1024 here as 4 times 256. Now, if I have something in the form a to the power of m times n, this is equal to a to the power of m to the power of n. So 4 to the power of 4 times 256, I can rewrite that as 4 to the power of 4 to the power of 256. Now 4 to the power of 4, that's the same thing as 256. So I have x to the power of x is equal to 256 to the power of 256. Now, if I have something in the form a to the power of a is equal to b to the power of b, this means that a is equal to b. So in this case, x is equal to 256. Now, to check, I have x to the power of x is equal to 4 to the power of 1024. We know that x is 256, so I have 256 to the power of 256 is equal to 4 to the power of 1024. Now, 256 is the same as 16 squared, so I have 16 squared times 256 is equal to 4 to the power of 1024, and 16 is the same as 4 squared, so I have 4 to the power of 1024 is equal to 4 to the power of 1024. Alright, so in this problem, I have x squared minus y squared is equal to x minus y squared. So to start, I'm going to first start by expanding x minus y squared. So now I have x squared minus y squared is equal to x squared minus 2xy plus y squared. So now these two x squared cancel out if I subtract x squared on both sides. So now I have negative y squared is equal to negative 2xy plus y squared. And now I'm going to add y squared on both sides and add 2xy on both sides. These two cancel out, these two cancel out, and I have 2xy is equal to 2y squared. Now I'm going to subtract 2y squared on both sides. These two cancel out, and I get 2xy minus 2y squared is equal to 0. Now I can factor out 2y. So now I have 2y times x minus y is equal to 0. So now this gives me two equations. I have 2y is equal to 0, and I also have x minus y is equal to 0. So for 2y equals 0, this means that y is equal to 0. And if x minus y equals 0, this means that x is equal to y, and remember y equals 0, so x is also equal to 0. So both of these variables are equal to 0. Now, I have another method of solving this. I have x squared minus y squared is equal to x minus y squared. So now, I'm going to rewrite x squared minus y squared as x plus y times x minus y. And now, I'm going to divide both sides by x minus y. So then these two cancel out, and I'm left with x plus y is equal to x minus y. Now, I have x plus y equals x minus y, and I can cancel these two x's out. So now I have y is equal to negative y, meaning 2y is equal to 0, and y is equal to 0. So again, I get y equals 0. So now to check, I had x squared minus y squared is equal to x minus y squared. If both of these are equal to 0, then I have 0 minus 0 is equal to 0 minus 0 squared, meaning 0 equals 0. Alright, so in this problem, I have 2 to the power of x minus 3 to the power of y is equal to 7. So I'm going to first start by rewriting 7 as 4 plus 3. So now I have 2 to the power of x minus 3 to the power of y is equal to 4 plus 3. And 4 is the same thing as 2 to the power of 2. 2 squared. So now I'm going to subtract 2 squared on both sides and add 3 to the power of y on both sides. So then these two cancel out, and I'm left with 2 to the power of x minus 2 squared is equal to 3 to the power of y plus 3. Now from here, from 2 to the power of x minus 2 squared, I'm going to factor out 2 squared. So now I have 2 squared times 2 to the power of x minus 2 minus 1 is equal to, from this, I'm going to factor out 3. So now I have 3 times 1 plus 3 to the power of y minus 1. Now, if I have something in the form a to the power of m times a to the power of n, this is equal to a to the power of m plus n. So 2 squared times 2 to the power of x minus 2, this is equal to 2 to the power of 2 plus x minus 2, which is equal to 2 to the power of x. So now I have 3 times 3 to the power of y minus 1. 3 is the same thing as 3 to the power of 1. This is equal to 3 to the power of 1 plus y minus 1, which is equal to 3 to the power of y. So now, if you notice here, I have 2 squared times 2 to the power of x minus 2 minus 1 is equal to 3 times y, 1 plus 3 to the power of y minus 1. Well, 2 squared, this is going to be an even number, right? And 3, this is an odd number. Now, 2 to the power of x minus 2, well, 2 to the power of any number is even, and an even number minus 1 is odd. And 3 to the power of any number is odd, and an odd number plus 1 is even. So I have an even number times an odd number is equal to an odd number times an even number, meaning these two odd numbers are equal to each other, and these two even numbers equal to each other. So I have 2 squared is equal to 1 plus 3 to the power of y minus 1, and I also have 2 to the power of x minus 1, 2 to the power of x minus 2 minus 1 is equal to 3. So these are my two equations. So let's first go ahead and solve this first one. So I have 2 squared, which is the same thing as 4. So I have 4 is equal to 1 plus 3 to the power of y minus 1. Now if I subtract 1 on both sides, I get 3 is equal to 3 to the power of y minus 1. And we want 3 is the same thing as 3 to the power of 1. And since these two bases are the same, this means that y is equal to y minus 1, meaning y is equal to 2. Now for my second equation, I have 2 to the power of x minus 2 minus 1 equals 3, meaning 2 to the power of x minus 2 is equal to 4, and x is equal to 4. So x equals 4 and y equals 2.